My name is Abo Jocelyn. I am the founder of Farm on Wheels, which is a social enterprise that is based in Niger State, Nigeria. I'm coming from a poor family of six, including my parents. Our major source of food is the farm. We would lease a plot of land for farming, and I, being the eldest of my siblings, would do the sowing, the weeding, and the harvest. As a child, it was very disappointing to harvest very small quantity of produce after the labor I put in, and also to watch the crops get infested with pests and can do nothing about it. As a graduate, and with my experience working with SDG's office Niger State and having to work with rural families, I noticed that the same problem I experienced as a child was also being experienced by these rural families. In Nigeria, most of the food consumed are produced by smallholder rural farmers. They are the most underserved group with little or no access to farm resources, and even when it's available, it's quite expensive. Hence, the low risk, low yield mentality of those farmers. The first picture in this slide, you'd see this is Mrs. Lydia Isa. She's a mother of three, and she's married to her husband who has two other wives. Two of her children are out of school, and she could barely feed herself and her family from the little piece of land she cultivates, as the food produced cannot last them till the next harvest season. The other picture is of a community called Takuti Shaba, which is about 105 kilometers away from the main town. In this community, they also don't have access to farm resources due to bad access road. And the women in this community don't farm, and they don't have access to land to do this farming. And they are also not allowed to attend training programs either. So these are the challenges that both the women in these communities, women farmers, and the rural smallholder farmers in these communities face. And we came about, then Farm on Wheels developed a solution, a comprehensive pack of inputs and services to mitigate this problem. Our solution includes providing the farmers with training on modern farm practices and proper application methods. We provide them also with inputs such as quality seeds, fertilizer, and agrochemicals on credit at 0% interest rate. We provide storage facility and market linkage. And this solution has increased their production capacity by 100% and their yield and income by 80%. And this now gives us two target markets on the production level and the value addition level. On the production level, we have the smallholder rural farmers who are our primary target market and has a market of over 1.5 million that are registered in cooperatives and about 3 million rural farmers in Niger State. There are over 14,000 cooperatives with at least 100 members per cooperative. Then our second primary target being on the value addition level is the agro-processing companies. According to CAC Nigeria, we have about 33,000 registered agro-processing companies in Nigeria, and they give us our secondary target market. And our business model includes these two target markets. Our business model starts from the input companies who provide of input at discounted rate to the agro-processing companies who buys off the farm produce from the farmers. Our model enables us to generate revenue from different avenues and create impact on so many levels, starting from the input companies to the agro-processing companies. And when you look at our competitive advantage table, you would see that Farm on Wheels is strong on input distribution, attractive interest rate, repayment method, market linkage, and trust. Our major competition, according to this table, is the federal government. They come up with different programs that leaves these farmers disappointed at the end. Then we have taken advantage of this opportunity, and we've gotten the farmers to adopt our model, And the farmers respond to our model because we provide them with the comprehensive pack of inputs, training, interactive interest rates, payment methods, storage, and market linkage. This has helped us build strong trust level with these farmers due to we deliver when we promise that we're going to deliver. Our strategic initiative is in 3 stages, starting from seed multiplication and radio training program to the fertilizer blending activities. In 2020, we'll be going into seed multiplication, where we multiply seed, our own seed, brand and package it, which we will now distribute to our farmers. We would also incorporate radio training program, which would help us create more awareness about Farm on Wheels and reach over 2 million smallholder for rural farmers in Nigeria. This training program will be done in the local dialect. Now, these farmers in these communities mostly get their information from the radio programs. In 2021, we would go into warehouse receipt system and create a Farm on Wheels online platform. The warehouse receipt system would enable the smallholder rural farmers to store their farm produce and have a receipt that is cash equivalent. Now, our online platform would connect this warehouse receipt system with the smallholder rural farmers and the bulk buyers and agro-processing companies. This bridges the market linkage gap between the smallholder rural farmers and the world at large. And this would increase our revenue by at least 20%. The seed multiplication and the radio training program would reduce cost of operations and cost of production by at least 40%. In 2022, we are going to introduce fertilizer blending, where we would blend our own fertilizer based on the feedback we get from these farmers from the rural communities, and we package and brand it accordingly. This will enable us also reduce cost of production by at least 20%. The interesting thing about our model is we already have our customers on ground. We are not looking to produce and start marketing and looking for who to buy. We just produce and distribute directly to our farmers. This also brings us to the capital requirements that will be needed to execute this strategic initiatives. We will be seeking a minimum of $300,000 in grant funding, which will be disbursed in 3 stages. The 3 stages of the seed multiplication and radio programming for one, the warehouse receipt system and the online platform for 2, and for the fertilizer blending. Our strategic initiative sets the trajectory for our scale-up and will enable us become sustainable come 2022. You could see from our favorable profit and loss statement that this strategic initiatives that will be implemented from 2020 to 2022 increased our profit margin from 28% to 50%. This is how the trajectory would go if we get this funding in terms of revenue generated. And this would enable us also break even come 2021, where our earned income will now become more than the cost of operations. Being able to access this funding, and if we operate at scale, we'll be able to impact 2,000 smallholder rural farmers with direct distribution, and which gives us indirect impact of 10,000, where a family has an average member of 5. And we'd also be able to train and reach over 2 million smallholder rural farmers. And also bear in mind that of all of our farmers, 60% of them are women, and this is also being a gender inclusive model. And this would also increase economic activities in these communities by 70%. In our model has made it our impact model and business model coupled with the funding needed to scale. Women like Lydia, who we presented at the beginning of this presentation, she would have the ability to send her two children to school and be able to produce at capacity. Presently, she has increased her production capacity. She has sent two of her children back to school, and she has a small kiosk where she does petty trading during off farming season. And communities like Takuti Shaba would be able to access this inputs directly in their communities, and the women in these communities can afford to do their own farming as they are doing presently based on our model. It is also important to note that in this community, due to the impact we've created, the women can freely attend trainings now, and they also have their own piece of land and cultivate for themselves. Our impact is our model is scalable in the sense that it can be replicated across the states in Nigeria, and it can also be replicated in other countries across Africa. Presently, we've recorded 100% success rate in training, distribution, and discovery and recovery. Thank you very much for listening to us. We have our social media page on our website. You can check us out and see what we've been doing so far. You can contact us with this email and mobile phone number. Thank you very much, and we are open for any questions you have for us. Thank you.